Welcome to our deep dive today. We're going to be exploring some pretty cool stuff about how artificial intelligence is changing lives right now.
Not just in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, not just like some far off thing.
Exactly.
We found this really interesting Italian website all about AI education.
Oh, cool.
And it's really pushing the idea that AI isn't this thing that's just for, tech people.
Right.
That it's really something that anybody can like get involved with.
That's awesome. I think a lot of people have this fear that AI is this,
Super complex.
yeah, super complex thing. And
Like out of reach.
yeah, it's like this big, scary thing. So making it accessible, I think, is a great idea.
Yeah, are you ready to kind of jump in and see what they have to say?
Absolutely. I'm excited.
Okay, so this website, it really emphasizes that AI is actually simpler than most people think. And, they're all about encouraging people to kind of get over that fear and really see the potential.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's so important because if we let fear dictate how we approach AI, we could miss out on a lot of opportunities.
Totally. And one of the ways they're doing that is by showcasing all of these really practical applications of AI.
Oh, cool. Like what?
Okay, so they have this thing called Moga,
Moga?
and it's like a virtual SEO specialist.
Oh, wow. So it can help you like boost your website traffic.
Exactly, like optimize your site for search engines and stuff.
So instead of hiring like an expensive SEO consultant, you can just use this AI tool.
Yeah, basically like they're saying it digs into your content, it finds the best keywords,
Wow.
and then it will give you like strategies like how to actually optimize your site.
That's super cool. So it's taking something that can be really complicated and making it more user-friendly.
Yes.
I like it.
So that's just one example. And, you can talk about how reliable is that and how
Mhm.
effective is that, but it's like a starting point to kind of show you what's possible.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool how it shows that AI can be used for these everyday tasks that people might not even think about.
Yeah. Yeah. So beyond website optimization, they have some other interesting examples too. One that they talk about is Avocado Matrimonialista AI.
Okay, break that down for me.
So basically, it's like an AI that specializes in family law.
Whoa, a virtual lawyer.
Kind of.
That's wild.
So, like, you need legal advice, you don't know where to turn, you can, like, ask this AI.
That could be really helpful for people who can't afford a lawyer,
Yeah.
or maybe just have a quick question.
Exactly.
But how reliable would the advice be? Like, is it actually giving legal advice or is it more like general information?
That's a great question. And to be honest, the website doesn't really go into the specifics
Okay.
of how accurate or,
Yeah.
like, legally sound it is.
Of course.
But they're highlighting the potential, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's food for thought.
Yeah, like, what if AI could make legal advice more accessible?
Right, right.
So we've got AI for SEO, AI for legal advice.
This is cool. What else?
Okay, get ready for this one. Cucina Italiana Stellata GPT.
Cucina Italiana. That sounds Italian.
It's a virtual 3-star Michelin chef.
Whoa, hold on. So this AI can teach you how to cook like a Michelin star chef.
Basically, it can guide you through creating like gourmet Italian dishes.
That's amazing. So you can have a Michelin star experience right in your own kitchen.
That's the idea.
I'm loving this website's focus on Italy.
Right.
It's like bringing AI to life in a really relatable way.
And you know what? It's interesting you say that because all of their examples are very Italy-centric.
Huh.
So like another one is Untra INPS AI.
Untra INPS. Okay, what's that?
So INPS is like the Italian National Social Security Institute.
Oh, okay.
And they're known for being very complex and difficult to navigate.
Bureaucracy, right.
So this AI basically helps you
Navigate that.
deal with that whole system.
So it's like AI to the rescue for Italian bureaucracy. That's actually pretty practical.
Yeah, like think about all the headaches it could save people.
Definitely.
So these are just a few examples. But I think what they're trying to show is like AI has this huge range.
It's not just like robots and spaceships.
Exactly.
It's also these everyday things that can actually make our lives easier.
Yeah, and I think the bigger message here is that AI isn't just this futuristic concept, it's already here.
It's happening now.
And it's impacting our lives like in so many different ways.
Totally. From how we work to how we relax even.
Yeah. And speaking of impact, the website goes on to talk about how AI is transforming like every aspect of our lives. Work, home, social interactions, even education and healthcare.
It's really everywhere, huh?
It is, it is. So let's kind of dive into that a little bit. Like, what are some of the specific ways AI is changing things up?
Okay, so in the workplace, they talk a lot about increased automation.
Automation. Okay, so that's a big one, right?
Yeah,
A lot of people are scared about robots taking their jobs.
totally. But this website actually frames it in a more positive light.
Okay, how so?
They say that AI can free us from mundane tasks and let us focus on more creative and strategic work.
So it's not about robots replacing humans, it's more like robots doing the boring stuff.
Exactly. And that frees up humans to do the more interesting and engaging things.
I like that. So it's about boosting efficiency and maybe even personalizing our work experiences.
Right. Think about AI tools that can analyze your work habits and suggest ways to improve your workflow or learn new skills.
That's actually really cool. It's like having a personal coach for your career.
Kind of, yeah. So it's not just about job replacement, it's about changing the nature of work itself.
I like that. What about AI's impact on our homes?
Oh, that's a fun one. They talk about how AI is enhancing our comfort and security through smart devices.
Okay, so like smart homes.
Exactly. Imagine a home that anticipates your needs, adjusting the temperature, lighting, even playing your favorite music as you walk in the door.
That sounds so futuristic, but also like kind of creepy. Is AI going to know everything about me?
Well, that's a valid concern. But think about it this way. It could also be incredibly helpful, especially for people with disabilities.
Oh, good point.
AI could help them live more independently by controlling things in their home.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or, imagine AI-powered security systems that can detect potential dangers and alert the authorities.
Okay, yeah. Safety is a big plus.
So it's not just about luxury and convenience, it's also about making our homes safer and more accessible.
I like that. It sounds like AI is not only making our lives easier, but also potentially safer and more inclusive.
Exactly. And this focus on accessibility and inclusion is something they emphasize throughout the website.
Okay, so we've got AI transforming our work in homes. What about our social lives? How is it changing how we connect with each other?
Well, they suggest that AI can actually help facilitate meaningful connections and foster a sense of community.
Really? I always hear people saying that technology is making us more isolated.
That's a common concern. But this website paints a different picture. They envision AI-powered platforms that connect people with shared interests or help them discover new opportunities for social engagement.
So AI could actually help us break out of our bubbles and connect with people who share our passions.
Exactly. And they also see a big role for AI in education.
Education. How so?
They talk about personalized and interactive learning experiences tailored to each student's needs and learning style.
So instead of the one-size-fits-all approach we have now, AI could create a more individualized learning experience.
Right. Imagine AI tutors that can provide personalized support and adapt to each student's pace.
That could be amazing for students who struggle in traditional classrooms.
Absolutely. And AI can also help teachers by automating administrative tasks so they can focus on what they do best, inspiring and mentoring students.
It sounds like AI could really shake things up in the education world, making learning more accessible and effective for everyone.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
And speaking of shaking things up, we can't forget about healthcare.
Oh, yeah, healthcare. That's a big one.
Definitely. They mention AI being used for faster and more precise diagnoses and even improving how hospitals are managed.
So it's not just about treating patients, but also making the healthcare system itself more efficient.
Exactly. But what really caught my attention was their focus on mental health care.
Okay, tell me more about that. We touched on it earlier with those tiny robots.
Right, the microrobotics. But they go beyond that. They talk about AI's potential to not only treat, but also predict and prevent mental health conditions.
Whoa, predict and prevent. How is that even possible?
Imagine AI analyzing data from your smartwatch, your social media activity, even your voice patterns.
To like see if you're at risk for depression or anxiety.
Exactly. It could detect early warning signs and potentially intervene before things get worse.
That's incredible, but also kind of scary. Like, is AI going to be reading my mind?
Well, it's not quite mind reading, but it is analyzing data that we might not even realize we're giving off.
It definitely raises some ethical questions about privacy and how this information is used.
You're right, and the website doesn't delve too deeply into those concerns. But it does highlight the potential of AI to revolutionize how we approach mental health.
It's definitely a lot to think about.
It is, and it's just one example of how AI is pushing the boundaries of what's possible in healthcare.
So we've got AI chefs, AI lawyers, AI therapists. It's incredible how AI is finding its way into every corner of our lives. What else does this website highlight?
Well, they also talk about the next generation of personal assistants.
Okay, like Siri and Alexa.
Those are the first generation. This is like taking it to a whole new level.
How so?
Imagine AI companions that anticipate your needs, manage your routines, and simplify your daily life in ways we can barely imagine.
That sounds almost too good to be true. Like having a super efficient personal assistant who knows you inside and out.
Exactly. They can manage your schedule, book appointments, even order groceries based on your dietary preferences.
It sounds super convenient, but also a little bit unsettling. Like, am I going to become completely reliant on these AI assistants?
That's a valid concern. The website doesn't really address the potential downsides of becoming too dependent on AI.
It's definitely something to think about. Like, what happens if the technology fails?
Right. Or if it's used against us in some way.
It's a reminder that with all these amazing possibilities, there are also potential risks that we need to be aware of.
Absolutely. And speaking of risks and possibilities, the website also dives into the world of hyper-personalized recommendations.
Hyper-personalized recommendations, so like even more personalized than what we get now.
Way more personalized.
Mm.
Think about AI that can predict your desires and offer suggestions tailored to your individual behavior patterns.
So it's not just recommending things you might like, it's more like anticipating what you'll want before you even know it.
Exactly. It's about understanding your underlying needs and motivations.
That's pretty impressive and a little bit creepy.
I know, right? It's like AI is getting to know us better than we know ourselves.
It definitely raises some questions about privacy and how much data we're willing to share.
For sure. But it also opens up some really exciting possibilities. Imagine AI suggesting a you never knew you wanted to read, but ends up becoming your new favorite.
Or a travel destination that perfectly aligns with your interests.
Exactly. It's about using AI to enhance our experiences and help us discover new things.
Okay, I'm starting to see the appeal. It sounds like AI is pushing the boundaries of personalization in some really fascinating ways.
It is. And it's just one more example of how AI is blurring the lines between technology and our lives.
So we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about AI's impact on everything from work to leisure to healthcare.
And it's clear that AI is not just a passing fad. It's a force that's here to stay.
But before we go any further, let's take a moment to kind of reflect on what we've learned so far.
Yeah, let's pause here and take stock of all these incredible possibilities.
Sounds good to me.
So we've covered a lot of really interesting ground, talking about AI in things like SEO, legal advice.
Even gourmet cooking.
Right. Like, who would have thought? But I think it's important to remember that this is really just scratching the surface.
Yeah, it feels like every day there's like a new breakthrough or a new application of AI.
Totally. So where do we go from here? What are some other areas this website explores?
Well, they kind of dive into some of the more advanced, and I guess some people might say like unsettling applications of AI.
Oh, okay. Like what?
Well, one that really caught my eye was the intersection of AI and mental health.
We did talk about the microbots
Yeah.
delivering treatments,
Yeah.
but it sounds like there's even more to it.
Yeah, there's a lot more to unpack there. So they talk about the potential of AI to not just treat, but also to predict and prevent mental health conditions.
Whoa, predict and prevent, that's a whole other level.
Right. So like imagine AI analyzing data from your smartwatch,
Okay.
social media activity, even your voice patterns.
To like
Or-
see if you're showing signs of depression or anxiety.
Exactly. It could potentially like pick up on those early warning signs and maybe even intervene before things get really serious.
That's both fascinating and a little bit scary, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's like super cool, but also there are definitely some privacy concerns.
Right. Like, how much information is AI going to have access to?
Exactly. And the website doesn't really delve too deep into those ethical considerations.
Okay. It's something to keep in mind for sure as these technologies are developed.
Yeah, it's like this constant balance. Like, how do we harness the power of this incredible technology,
Right.
but also do it responsibly?
Absolutely. It's a big responsibility. And speaking of responsibility, one of the most talked about applications of AI is self-driving cars.
Oh, yeah. Self-driving cars. Everyone's talking about those.
Right. And this website really sees AI as the key to making those autonomous vehicles not just a reality, but also safe and efficient.
So they're not just saying it's going to happen. They're saying AI is going to make it happen well.
That's what they seem to be suggesting.
Okay, so what makes them so confident? What do they say about AI's role in all of this?
Well, they highlight how AI is enabling cars to perceive their surroundings with incredible detail. Like analyze complex traffic situations,
Yeah.
make split-second decisions.
It's almost like they're saying AI will be better drivers than humans.
Well, there are talking about how the AI is learning and adapting to new situations.
So it's not just programmed to follow rules, it's actually learning as it goes.
That's right.
That's kind of wild. I mean, the potential benefits are huge, right?
Yeesh, yeah.
Fewer accidents, maybe less traffic.
Think about people who can't drive themselves.
Yeah.
Like, suddenly they have this freedom.
That's a really good point. It could be incredibly transformative for people with disabilities.
Absolutely.
But, there's still that little voice in the back of my head, like, is it really safe?
Right. To hand over control to a machine.
Exactly.
I mean, they do acknowledge that
Mhm.
there are challenges, things that still need to be worked out. But they're optimistic that AI will be able to overcome them.
So what makes them so optimistic?
They talk about the advancements in machine learning and sensor technology, like how those are making self-driving systems more and more sophisticated
So basically, the technology is getting better and better, faster than ever before.
and more reliable. Yeah,
Okay, I can see why they're excited about the potential. It really does feel like AI is changing the game when it comes to transportation.
completely. Yeah. And while we're talking about AI changing the game, we can't forget about education.
Oh, yeah, we touched on that earlier.
This website is really enthusiastic about how AI can personalize the learning experience.
Yeah, we talked about the AI tutors, but it sounds like they're thinking even bigger.
Much bigger, yeah. They see AI not just as a tutor, but almost like a learning companion. Something that can really adapt to each student's needs.
So it's like having a teacher who can actually cater to your specific learning style.
That's the idea, yeah. They're imagining AI systems that can identify your strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
Tailor the content.
Give you personalized feedback.
Exactly. It's all about making learning more effective for each individual student.
That's pretty cool. I mean, think about how much easier it would be to learn something if it was actually presented in a way that made sense to you.
Right. And they also talk about how AI can address some of the, inequalities in education.
Okay, how so?
Well, like by providing personalized support and resources, AI could help level the playing field for students from disadvantaged backgrounds.
That's a really powerful idea. Using AI to make education more accessible and equitable for everyone.
Exactly. And it's a reminder that AI can be used for social good, not just for profit or, technological advancement.
Yeah, it's about using this incredible power responsibly to actually make the world a better place.
Absolutely. And speaking of making the world a better place, let's not forget about healthcare. We've already touched on the potential of AI for mental health, but the website also highlights its impact on things like diagnostics and treatment planning.
And even hospital management.
Right, like making the whole system more efficient.
It sounds like they're envisioning a future where AI is deeply integrated into every aspect of healthcare.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So what kind of specific examples do they give? Like, how is AI actually being used in these ways?
Well, they talk about AI algorithms that can analyze medical images, like X-rays or scans, with greater accuracy than humans.
Wow. So AI can actually spot things that doctors might miss.
That's what they're saying. And it can detect diseases at their earliest stages.
That's huge. I mean, early detection is so important for so many conditions.
Absolutely. And it's not just about making diagnoses faster. It's about making them more accurate and also more personalized.
So it's about tailoring treatments to each individual patient.
Exactly. They see AI as a key player in this shift from reactive healthcare to more proactive and preventative healthcare.
Okay, so it's not just about treating diseases after they develop, it's about preventing them from developing in the first place.
That's the goal.
That's a pretty bold vision of the future of healthcare.
It is. And they're not just focusing on patient care. They're also talking about how AI can improve the efficiency of hospitals and healthcare systems as a whole.
Okay, like what kind of things are they talking about?
They talk about AI optimizing staffing schedules, managing resources, streamlining administrative tasks.
So basically, taking care of all the behind-the-scenes stuff so that healthcare professionals can actually focus on what matters most, taking care of patients.
Exactly. It's about freeing up their time and energy so they can provide the best possible care.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, our healthcare systems are so complex and often so inefficient. It's exciting to think about how AI could help streamline things and make them more effective.
Right. And this website is painting a very optimistic picture of AI's potential to transform healthcare for the better.
It's a really compelling vision. But, realistically, not everyone is going to be on board with all of this. Not everyone is comfortable with the idea of AI playing such a big role in our lives.
That's true.
Like, what about the people who are hesitant or even fearful of this whole AI revolution? What does this website say to them?
They actually address that directly, acknowledging that there are valid concerns about AI, but they really emphasize that education and understanding are key to overcoming those fears.
So it's not about blindly embracing AI, it's about approaching it with a critical and informed perspective.
Exactly. They believe that by demystifying AI, by making it accessible to everyone, we can harness its power for good and shape its development in a way that benefits all of humanity.
I like that. It's about empowering people to make informed decisions about AI rather than just being swept up in the hype or letting fear dictate our actions.
Right. It's about taking control of the narrative and shaping the future of AI together.
This website has definitely given me a lot to think about. We've explored so many amazing applications of AI, but now I'm really curious to delve deeper into some of the philosophical implications.
Oh, that's a great point. I mean, we've talked about how AI is changing our lives, but what about how it's changing our understanding of what it means to be human?
That's a great segue. I'm ready to get philosophical. All right, so we've talked about how AI is, changing transportation and healthcare and all this stuff.
Yeah, really practical stuff.
Yeah. But now I'm kind of interested in the bigger
Right,
questions.
the philosophical side of things.
Yeah, exactly. Like this Italian website we keep talking about.
Yeah.
They really seem to be saying that AI is making us rethink what it means to be human.
Yeah, it's definitely challenging some of our assumptions about, you know, intelligence, creativity, consciousness.
Yeah, like can AI actually become conscious?
Right.
That's like the big question, right?
Yeah.
Because if AI can like write poetry, compose music,
Create art.
yeah, and it's like really good,
Right.
does that mean that it's developing like a sense of self or something?
Yeah. It's a really tough question, and honestly, there's no easy answer.
Right.
I mean, some experts believe that, as AI becomes more and more complex, it's possible that it could reach a level of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
But then others argue that consciousness is something that's unique to biological systems
Okay.
and can't really be replicated in a machine.
So it's like a fundamental difference.
Yeah, yeah,
But it really makes you think, like, what does it mean to be human if a machine can do all these things that we used to think were uniquely human?
totally. And even if AI doesn't achieve like full-blown human consciousness,
Okay.
it's still making us reevaluate our relationship with technology.
Right. It's not just a tool anymore.
Exactly. It's becoming more like a partner or a collaborator.
So it's like we're working with AI, not just using it.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's a pretty big shift.
It is.
And, it makes me think about all this AI-generated art and music and literature that's out there now.
Oh, yeah, that's everywhere.
Like, is human creativity becoming obsolete?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, this website actually sees AI as something that can enhance human creativity.
Okay, so not replace it.
Not replace it, no. More like augment it.
So it's like AI is a tool that artists can use.
Exactly, yeah. Like a new kind of brush or instrument.
I like that analogy. So instead of being afraid of AI, we should see it as an opportunity to push the boundaries of what's possible in art and music.
I think so, yeah. Like, imagine using AI to generate new ideas or to experiment with new forms of expression.
It's like AI can help us see the world in a new way.
Exactly. And it's not just about art and creativity.
Okay.
This website also talks about how AI can be used to solve some of the world's biggest problems,
Oh, wow. Okay, like what kind of problems?
like climate change, poverty, disease.
So AI is not just about convenience and entertainment, it's about actually making a difference in the world.
Right. They really see it as a tool for good.
I like that. So how would AI even be used to address those kinds of problems?
But we talk about how AI can analyze huge amounts of data, identify patterns,
Okay.
and maybe even come up with solutions that we wouldn't be able to think of on our own.
So it's like AI can help us see things that we might miss.
Right. It could help us make better decisions,
Yeah.
maybe even predict future problems.
That's pretty powerful.
It is, yeah. But of course, with that power comes responsibility, right?
Yeah. Like how do we make sure that AI is actually used for good and not for harm?
That's the big question.
Yeah.
And this website, they really emphasize the importance of developing and using AI ethically.
Okay, so what does that mean? Like how do we do that?
Well, they talk about making sure AI systems are fair and transparent,
Okay.
accountable, making sure they're aligned with human values.
So it's not just about the technology itself, it's about the choices we make in how we use it.
Exactly. And it's about making sure everyone has a voice in those choices.
I think that's a really important message. AI is not something that's happening to us. It's something that we're all creating together.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been a really fascinating deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground, from those practical applications of
The
AI,
virtual chefs and lawyers.
yes, all the way to these big philosophical questions about consciousness, and creativity.
And responsibility.
Yeah, it's clear that AI is more than just a collection of cool technologies.
It's really a fundamental shift in how we understand the world and our place in it.
And I think that's what's so exciting and also a little bit daunting about it.
Right, it's a lot to take in.
It is, it is. But I think the key takeaway here is that AI is not something to be feared. It's something to be explored, understood, and shaped.
And ultimately, used to create a better future for everyone.
I think that's a perfect note to end on. To our listeners, thank you for joining us on this journey.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
And keep exploring the amazing world of AI. Until next time.